Welcome back to Bon Voyage Besties, everyone. Today's episode is extra special because we're joined by a true trailblazer in the world of solo travel, Alyssa. She's one of the original solo travel bloggers and influencers with a decade of adventures under her belt and all 7 continents checked off the list, which is absolutely remarkable. That's just
Hmm.
amazing. And she's still going, now at 145 countries, traveled solo. Oh my God, I'm like over the moon right now. That's so cool. Alyssa has built a full time travel life completely on her own, and she's made it her mission to give you the information, inspiration, and honest stories you need to make your own travel dreams happen. As a full time travel blogger, she showcases both the beauty and the truths of the world and encourages you to get out there and experience it too. So, buckle up because this is going to be a good one. I know I'm incredibly excited for it. So, let's all welcome Alyssa to the show. Welcome to Bon Voyage Besties.
Thank you. You just made my whole day with that intro. Did I copy that and use it as like my bio or something?
Absolutely. Feel free.
Oh, awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thanks
it's
for
very
having me. I'm so glad we could connect.
same. It's very impressive. So 145 countries. That's amazing.
Yeah, I can't even believe it sometimes when I like say it out loud or like when I'm writing it somewhere and I'm like, how did I get that far? How did that happen? And I'm just like, I just think about all the years that I spent like solely focusing on this mission to like see the world and like make it into a job. And I'm like, wow, that was a lot.
It's
Yeah, that's
amazing.
incredible. That's truly amazing. Like that number is engraved in my brain. So, for anyone who's new to your journey, how about we go back to the beginning? How did this all start? Because, like you said, it's a huge milestone.
Yeah, it is. It's absolutely amazing. And to be honest with you, I didn't think I would ever make it this far, and I didn't think I'd be still going strong like this. So going all the way back to the beginning, I just like to say a little bit of like my back personal story to encourage anyone who might be in a similar situation as me. My family's Cuban American, so we're Latina or Latin. I mean, we have men in the family too. But I grew up in a single mother household, and she was a secretary, so it was also pretty low income. And there were 4 of us, and I have my younger brother and I have 2 adopted siblings. So it was my mom taking care of 4 kids. We were like, free and reduced lunch in school type of situations, never had new clothes situations. And therefore, obviously, we never went anywhere. Like we went to Disney and that was amazing. We went to parks, that was amazing. But we did not leave Florida. And it wasn't until I graduated college that I went and started my corporate career as everyone does. So my degree is actually a Bachelor of Science in biology and chemistry. And I was supposed to go to veterinary school after college and I worked as a veterinary technician and I hated it. It was awful. I felt like the, the veterinary industry in the US is just like robbing people and not helping anyone. So I hated it. So I got a corporate job. Like someone poached me actually. They're like, oh, I see you're really good at planning events. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. I tried to do a 9 to 5 and I sucked at it. I was really good at the work, but there was not a single day that I was on time. And I was like, I don't understand why I have to be on this schedule. Like, why can't I just be on a schedule when my brain's working? So that didn't last. Quit that. And I went to LA for a weekend and discovered the wonderful world of like freedom and like free thinking and like not this strict schedule of go to school, get married, have babies, buy a house, and then like vacation once a year, maybe if you're lucky, or like when you're retired. That was how my mind like thought things were supposed to happen, as I'm sure most people in the US think that way too. But in LA, everyone was like, no, I'm going to do whatever I want. And like my focus is not just to get married and have babies right away. Like I'm going to do like my passion. I'm going to be creative. I'm going to like reach for my dreams first. And I was like, oh, what are my dreams? Do I have dreams? I had never thought to have a dream. I just thought I had to work. So I remember using Craigslist.
Wow, we're taking it back.
I was 22. Okay, I was 22 at this time. I used Craigslist to find any job that would take me and that didn't require an office. I had no background in professional writing, and I got hired as like an intern to be a journalist in LA. So they taught me, they had an online magazine. They taught me everything about how to post things online, about SEO, about meta descriptions. They would get free products and I would have to do like the post about it, like talking about it. So that's where I got the idea to do this as a blogger later on. And yeah, that taught me how to be basically a journalist. And I was like, okay, I want to be a writer randomly. And I did. I became a writer. I got hired to like write for magazines and all this stuff. At 25, I was like, I want to do more than just, I was in Hollywood for like 3 years. I was like, I need to do more than just like the Hollywood scene because this is getting pretty exhausting. And I was like, I want to go travel finally.
It's like a light bulb.
Yeah,
Yes.
I was so, but I was like a typical naive like American. I was like, I'm gonna go volunteer in Africa with little kids, like total white savior syndrome, like total white
Mhm.
savior syndrome. And I remember telling my mom about it, and I was like, I can't. No one here wants to go with me. No one here like everyone's scared to go, or everyone wants to like take off time. And she's like, you should just go alone. People do that. I'm like, you, my mother, telling me I should go alone to Africa? Unheard of. And she's like,
Wow.
she used to be a flight attendant in her
Okay.
20s. She's like, me and my friends used to travel all over the place with no cell phone. She's like, my parents wouldn't hear from me for weeks. I'm like,
Wow.
why are you making me feel like I need to check in with you all the time when I'm even just in LA? Like, what's going on?
That's amazing. Your mom is my hero.
Yeah. So it was those words. She was the one that was like, you should just go. And I was like, I'm gonna be broke. She's like, that's fine. Money comes back. And I was like, well,
I love your mom.
I love your mom.
If she's
I love
I was scared. I was like, I don't want to be broke. I don't want to be alone. And she's like, no, you should probably go do that. So, I went on my first trip. I didn't have enough money like for the flight. So I tried to like, that's why I figured out how to do flight roulette. And I was finagling my way to get the cheapest flights. And I ended up like creating this route that went South Africa, Thailand, and Australia in a like month, basically. Oh, wait, let me say something before that. I started my blog 2 years before I traveled. So it was just my life's a movie. And I covered Hollywood. And I was one of the first bloggers. And people didn't really know about like if it would be a thing or not. But it was right when bloggers started getting requests from agencies to turn their blogs into reality shows. So
cool.
I actually had a really random bestie. He was a CAA agent. He was like one of Will Smith's literary agents. And I was like, let me write a screenplay. I want to be a screenplay writer. He's like, no, write a blog. He's like, you have a cool life. He literally said, no, write a blog. And I was like, no one looks at blogs. He goes, number one request right now is for blogs that have like interesting content to turn into reality shows. And I was like, oh, okay, challenge accepted. And so I just wrote about my life in Hollywood. But then I got sick of it writing about Hollywood. So that's why I traveled. And then it was that first trip. It was a whole new world. I went alone. I made all these friends. I fell in love like 3 times. And I was like, this is what the world is like. I have been missing out on this. So as soon as I got back, I only wanted to write about travel. And it was that trip that I like came up with the back of head selfie because I had a huge like it sounds like such a petty thing to complain about, but majority of people always assume that I get things because of the way I look. And I wanted to prove everyone in LA thought that I had a sugar daddy. They thought that my trip was being funded by someone
my
and I was hiding
God.
it.
It's like that's the only way
Yeah.
that it makes sense, right?
Yeah. There was one guy who would comment on my posts, tag your sponsor.
Oh my God, that's so rude.
Yeah. And later on down the
Wow.
road, it's mandatory to tag your sponsor, and I have lots of them. So jokes on that guy. He's probably still bartending in West Hollywood.
I'm sure he is. He might be like hate following you, just like
Exactly.
stewing.
I hope so. I really hope so. But yeah, so I started doing the back of head selfie. I would only wear all black like gym clothes. I didn't want to cause attention to myself. Also, I was still broke, so I didn't have nice things. Besides like club clothes for LA. Couldn't wear those in Africa. Yeah. So I got a lot of attention for those photos on social media. But at the time, social media was not what it is right now. This is now we're talking like 12 years ago. So it was just like for fun, it was for personal stuff. But I was also one of my random jobs. I was a assistant to a celebrity publicist. And we had clients like Aaron Carter, rest his soul. Reality stars with bad reputations, basically. So he used to have like Lindsay Lohan when she was in the drug stage. Yeah, we had like Dan Bilzerian, those type of people. But I learned from him. I learned from him how to use social. I was in charge of all these people's like social media, by the way. Me.
Wow.
So, I was like tweeting for Aaron Carter as Aaron Carter and responding to fans for him. And I was like, oh. And then he was getting like brand deals that I would then have to like negotiate and like get him the product and stuff. And I was like, oh, I wonder if this would work like if I had an audience. So that was like my train of thought. I was like, okay, I'm going to build an Instagram. I'm going to build a social media up, but it's going to be to promote my blog because the only way I could think of to make money was the ads and the collaborations on the blog. because influencers did not exist. So I was using my photos to get attention to promote my blog. My blog was doing like huge. It was like 100,000 visitors a month. There was only like a handful of bloggers that even existed, and like we all like knew each other. And then I don't know what their timeline is, but I had never heard of anyone pitching collaborations to get like free travel or free anything or for paid collaborations and stuff. But I thought I wanted to try it. It worked for the celebrities. Maybe they would want to do it with me, because at this point I had like 20 or 30,000 followers, and that was a lot back then. And I was just like, I would pitch endlessly to try to convince people to just let me have like a free tour or free hotel stay or something like this, or free luggage or something like this. And majority of the people said no. They said, I have no idea what you're talking about. No, but I got enough people to say yes. So I went to Iceland on after that trip, the month-long trip. I came back. I'm like, I'm only doing travel now. I'm a travel blogger. This is my life. This is all I want to do. All I'm going to do in my life is be a travel blogger. That's all I want. It's my dream. I'm going to do my dream. But I was still broke. And even
it's like, we need the money.
Even more broke.
We need the money, unfortunately.
Yeah, I was even more broke after that trip. Okay, wait. So fast forward, I was like still working the side hustle, still working my blog. And I finally got my first actual collaboration, which was in Iceland. And I got different collaborations there. I had a tour company to sponsor me. I got the car rental, and I got a hotel to sponsor me. So all I had to do really was pay for flights and food. And while I was there, 2 things happened that were life-changing in my story. So the first thing, I was in the Blue Lagoon. I was talking on the phone to this guy who was like a token like F-boy. I don't want to say it. But he
it's all good.
Yeah, you know what I mean. He was the type that would be like, yeah, we're gonna travel together, and then it would never happen. And this was like years.
Wow.
So he's actually a big reason why I stayed traveling solo, because he would make plans for me to go on trips and then bail. Every time.
My life in 2019.
Yeah, I think we all can relate to someone like that.
Yes, absolutely.
So yeah, I was on the phone with him, and I was in the Blue Lagoon, and I had mud on my face, and it was twice now, a foreign man, not an Icelandic man, tourists, made a verbal comment to me about being a prostitute.
What?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Like a guy went past me in the Blue Lagoon and said something along the lines of like, how much?
Are you for real? Oh my God.
In
that's
the Blue
awful.
Lagoon.
Out of all the
Iceland.
places where you're supposed to be nice and relax, like, come on.
Yeah, it's
that was
such a
such
zen
a stressful.
place.
Yeah, in a few days before, I was just hiking. I was in my hiking clothes, but I was very skinny, big boobs, and like blonde hair, and like I heard women commenting about me and what I was wearing, and I was like, really, Iceland? Like, really?
Yeah.
And then this happened in the Blue Lagoon, and I was so angry, and I was on the phone, and I said, is it really that weird that I'm pretty and I'm traveling alone? And he said, yeah, actually, it is. It is really weird. Women don't do that. Pretty women don't do that. He said straight up. I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to write about this. So at the time, I was also a contributor for Huffington Post. So
it's like perfect outlet.
I will take this to the internet.
Drank a bunch of red wine, was sitting in my room, and I was just like going at it. So the title was "Yes, I'm Pretty and I'm Traveling Alone." It was. I wrote the first line of the article. This is semi-sarcastic. No, I don't really think I'm like super pretty. I can already hear like Regina from Mean Girls saying, "Oh, so you think you're really pretty?"
Yeah,
no, just read the article. So I hit every point. I said, "No, I don't have a sugar daddy. No, I don't have rich parents. Actually, they were pretty poor. No, I'm not like on a breakup doing this to like console myself. No, I am not a sex worker." Like every stereotype that people had about me, about women in general traveling alone, I like pointed that out and like wrote this really snarky, sarcastic article about it. And I woke up in the morning to 2 things. One text from the guy saying, "I can't believe you had the balls to write that." I'm like, what? I didn't know what was going on. Second text, my mom, "Your grandpa's not doing well. You need to come home right now."
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I'm like so confused. I opened my computer and my blog was down. I was like, am I in trouble? And I opened my email and it's flooded with notifications from Huffington Post.
Oh, dang.
The article went so viral that they translated it and reposted it on Huffington Post in like 20 different countries in 20 different languages. My Instagram had maybe 50,000 new followers. My Facebook, my personal Facebook had like 30,000. My Facebook page had like 60,000. It had so much traffic on my blog that it like shut down.
Wow.
And I was like, what the frick just happened?
Wow.
Is this bad or good? Is this bad or good? So I first I call my mom. I'm like, what's going on? She's like, it's time to say goodbye to grandpa. You need to come home. And I was like, oh my God. Okay. So I pack all my shit. I'm like, I'm coming. I'm going to use the credit card for flight.
Yeah.
I can't just like, she's like, just book it with the credit card. Just book it. Doesn't matter. I was like, okay, I'm coming. So I'm at the airport and I'm standing in line and the guy is texting me. He's like, you're going viral. I'm like, what does that mean? Is that good or bad? That sounds like a bad thing.
This is amazing.
I'm looking at I'm looking at my Instagram, but right before I board the flight, and it's at like 100,000, and I'm like, there's no way. This is fake. Someone's messing with me. But I didn't have time to read any comments. I didn't have time to see if it was like good or bad. Like it was half bad, half good. But I was just like, I gotta go see my grandpa. And then I landed. I got to Florida. I talked to my grandpa, kind of. He was like very out of it. And when he was sleeping, I went and checked my email finally. And I had multiple email requests from producers in LA wanting to turn my story into a reality show or some type of show. And I had an interview request from Inside Edition to go on air in LA to do an interview. And I showed my mom, she's like, I cannot believe that. I'm like, I cannot believe this either. And I cannot believe it's happening like right now. So that was like the same day, like my grandpa was dying. So I was able to tell him that. I was like, look, I made it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Aww.
So he got yeah. And then he passed away and he left only a little bit of money. And my mom, it was like $2,000. My mom was like, I know your dream is to travel. So she's like, I'm keeping this in like a savings account for your siblings because they're just going to go shopping. But if you want to spend it on travel, like I'm going to give it to you. Spend it how you want. And I was like, well, I can't just blow it on travel because that's not sustainable. So I used that money to get my own, I was living with like 3 people in LA, and I used it to get my own apartment that I could Airbnb out to make money while I traveled. That was my next genius idea.
Smart, very smart. I'm like so impressed right now.
It's like literally a movie.
It is.
Oh, thank you.
It is. I feel like I could see it on
work.
Netflix or something for sure.
Exactly.
It really
I'm
is
like
a movie.
so intrigued.
You know, I wish, but I think I don't know. I think it's a little late now, but I'm going to start working on YouTube next year and try to make some sort of series out of all this. But yeah, so I got the apartment, but I just posted about this yesterday because it was my 10 years ago, like this year was that year when I got the apartment, but now I'm even more and more broke as it goes because I spent all the money on the Airbnb. So I had to go like do road trips and go camping in order to like Airbnb the place out. So I was like sleeping in tents so that I can make money off of my apartment.
Oh my God.
And
it's like, where there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah,
I love this.
I did a tent for 2 weeks in Canada. By the end of that 2 weeks, I was like, I sound like such a brat, but I was like, I don't know if I could do this again.
Yeah. And I was alone and I was in my little tiny Mustang and it was just like a whole thing. It was like a whole thing. But it was funny because that trip I didn't think was going to be a big deal. I thought I had to go international in order to make my blog, my social media more appealing. But people were so entertained by my struggle, I think. I took some really good photos. Like I took some iconic photos of Horseshoe Bend that everyone copied later. Very dangerous. I'm probably the reason why they now have guardrails up there. Because I was like dangling my feet over the edge with the selfie stick over my head.
For my daughter doing that when we went there. And I'm like, Sam, can you like move? She's like, but look at this picture. It looks so cool. I'm like, can you just please back up?
Oh my gosh. Didn't she do that in the Grand Canyon too?
And in the Grand Canyon, like at the I'm like, girlfriend, I'm like the worst parent ever, letting my kid just like dangle off
I'm the worst
horseshoe beds.
influence ever. I didn't think I was actually influencing people to do things. I thought I was just gaining followers and like getting people to read my blog. It didn't really occur to me that people were actually doing the trips that I did with the help of my blog until like years later. I have imposter syndrome forever. I probably still do right now. I'm like, nah, no one's watching this. No one's traveling because of me. And I'm like, oh wait, my group trips get like sold out in like a week. So that's how.
You got to give yourself some credit, girl.
I'm trying. Well, and I have Rachel's amazing intro to boost me up. I'm going to just rewatch that every time I need a little boost.
Yes. And I'm ready to track down that article you wrote from years ago because I've heard so much crap about being a solo female traveler. And sometimes it gets me down and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go back into the Huffington Post archives and give that a read and just feel empowered and awesome. Because I've like the stuff you're saying, I'm just like, I've heard this, I've heard that. And it's crazy.
It's sad. It's sad how many women like get hated on and get shat on and get treated badly just for wanting to travel. Like
Yeah.
even in relationships, like I've been in relationships where the guy gives me shit for wanting to travel, like and travel alone. And I'm like, why is this a problem? Is it because you are not taking me traveling and I can take myself traveling? Like I don't understand.
Yes.
But yeah, I'll send you the article. It's pretty entertaining.
Yes, please do. I'm going to have that for my evening reading before the week starts.
Yeah. Have some wine, let it all out.
A good read. But like you said, it also sucks too because as women, we always have to kind of explain ourselves. There's always has to be a reason why. But like men can go out there, they can solo travel.
Yep.
Why aren't
Yep.
they getting the same questions that we get? So it's just insane
Yes.
that women that we have to add this other layer when it comes to being able to travel the world by ourselves if we choose to do that. Like I have a
I
partner,
completely
a
agree.
significant other, and he's very supportive. And I take solo trips by myself with friends. So I can even imagine having to constantly explain myself to others for living the way that I want to live.
Yep. Oh yeah. In the beginning, with even with my husband now, in the beginning, he like was convinced I was traveling the world to like meet men, and I'm like,
Oh my God.
do you have any idea what I have to do on these trips?
Yeah, right. And it's like, have you met men?
Yeah. Like, what makes you think I have even time to handle a man in every country I go to? Like, no.
Oh, that'd be so much work.
Oh my God. I wouldn't have a job. That would be my full-time job.
Yeah, word. Just
Yeah,
no.
it's crazy. Anyway,
It would make for a
But
good
yeah, so
show,
that-
though.
Watch that show.
I got sponsored by Tinder to do that one time.
Wow.
What? Oh, that's amazing.
A really, really high paying campaign. I had a boyfriend at the time and I had to ask him if it was okay. And I was like, this is like a $4,000 campaign, but I have to go on dates with 4 guys in 4 countries. If
Oh,
I
wow.
disclose that it's just for the collaboration, I have a boyfriend, are you okay with it? He goes, $4,000? Hell yeah. I was like, okay.
That would be me. That would be me. I'd be like $4,000. I'd be like, yeah, sweet. I mean, I probably do
Yeah,
it for 1,000 right now.
He filmed one of the dates. He came with me and filmed one of the dates.
Like, that's amazing.
You know?
I mean, if someone
Yeah.
approached me with that overseas and was like, will you go on a date with me? I'm doing this collaboration. We'll record and all. I would be all about it. I'd be like, hell yeah, this is
Yeah.
a great story to tell.
Yeah, I put it on the Tinder bio. I said, I'm not looking for like anything. I am doing a collaboration with Tinder Corporate. I need to film dates in 3 different countries. If anyone wants to be on camera and this will be posted like publicly, let me know. And I had lots of takers.
Oh, I'm sure.
I bet.
That's really cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. One guy had just gone through a breakup. Actually, he goes, this is going to be a great get back at her. Like, I was like,
that's
Oh,
awesome.
I love it. I love it. I went to Spain after a really bad breakup. And if that had happened to me, I would have been going feral. Like, that would be so much fun.
It was fun. It was funny. Yeah. Yeah. It was cool. But yeah, so
gosh.
I don't even know what I was talking about.
So you're in the
that
camper van.
article.
Yeah.
I'm in my Mustang. Girl, I'm in my tiny
Oh.
Mustang with a tiny tent that I could not figure out how to set up. And that video went viral on YouTube because it was a time lapse. It took me like 2 hours to set up a tent by myself. Anyway, I was terrified. That trip was terrifying. I was heartbroken. That guy was supposed to join me and he didn't, which led to me driving through America solo. And I was scared of that. So yeah, but that trip, then that content like started going viral because I had all these new followers. And I was like, oh my God, what's happening? Like, this is nuts. And then from there, it was kind of just like everything fell into place. I did the interview with Inside Edition, got a lot more followers from that. And I got more and more like requests for interviews. I was interviewed on like every single platform and I was just like everywhere. And that like got me my establishment, which is very important in this industry because you can have thousands of followers, hundreds of thousands of followers. But right now there's so many of us that like my stand up point is I've been featured in Forbes, Huffington Post, Business Insider, Travel and Leisure, like every platform.
Yeah.
And then I started getting, I didn't even realize it, but I was one of the top like traveled, top booked and had one of the top followings of that era of the social media boom. And then by default, I got the title influencer, which I didn't like. I was like, no, I'm a blogger.
I love that. I was a blogger first, so that like speaks to my heart.
I am a blogger. But yeah, but then I realized that most people only wanted social media for the campaigns. And I was like, well, that's way less work than writing a full blog post.
It
But I
is,
still
yeah.
want my ad rev. I would,
And more money,
yeah,
too.
so I like, yeah, more money. So I would, yeah, I kind of switched over to Instagram and then everything just like fell in. It was just like nuts. It was like, I would get called like a couple weeks in advance. I'd be like in a country and I'd get a request. I remember I think it was in like Thailand, somewhere far. And of all places, the tourism board of like Sanibel Island in Florida wanted to pay me like a couple $1,000s to come do a collaboration there. And I was like, You want to pay me to go back to my home state?
Yes. Yes.
I
I was like,
guess.
this is like full circle for me. Like, this is so full circle. And then later I got like, I'm from like Palm Beach County. And later I got a collaboration requested by Palm Beach Tourism Board and freaking Lily Pulitzer. I was like their poster girl for the Jane Goodall campaign they did because
Oh,
they were
that's so
looking for an
cool.
adventurous travel girl. And they picked me. And it was such like a 360 in my life because in Palm Beach, when I was younger, like my teens and like early 20s, I was not in the wealthy circle. I had wealthy friends. I don't know why they were even friends with me because I was always so broke. But I would always have to be someone's plus one to events in Palm Beach, you know? And then here I was coming back and I'm like 27 and I'm like, I am a guest of Lily Pulitzer. And here is my outfit that none of you are wearing because it is next spring's collection.
I love that. I love that. I'm a
I
fan of their
love it.
clothes, so I'm just like loving
Oh,
it.
yeah. Oh, they gave me so many clothes. Oh my God.
So
It was
colorful, just like so colorful, vibrant. Like I love the
yeah.
style.
Yeah. They have some cute stuff. For
I
sure.
have to say
Yeah,
though,
that was-
listening to you talk about your upbringing reminds me. I'm from Dominican Republic, so my parents migrated to New Jersey when I was about 3 or 4 years old. But same thing, like growing up, we didn't have much. Like my dad worked in a factory. It wasn't until like later on that my mom started working like at Macy's. But even then, like we had the essentials, but travel wasn't a thing for us. And I remember one time, one of my classmates, they came back from Disney and they're talking about their trip. And I remember going home and telling my mom and dad, like, I'm never going to go to Disney because I'm not white and rich. And that was like my conception of people who got to travel. I didn't think being from like a Hispanic household,
Mhm.
all of my friends that were Hispanic, they would only travel back home. They never went to Disney World or anywhere like Bahamas, like things like that. Like that wasn't really a thing for us. So listening you talk about that and even talk about like that you were broke, you didn't have the means, because sometimes I feel like there's this big misconception. Like if you go onto your social, you think, oh, Alyssa's wealthy. She comes from this rich upbringing. But to
Mhm.
hear you talk about all the steps that you took to make travel a reality for you, I swear, like it gave me chills.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I really try to remind people often of that because people really do think I just like magically had money. Because there's a lot of bloggers, they come from like wealthy families or they had a corporate job where they got paid a lot and then they quit it, but they had money to travel.
Yeah.
I just didn't have any of that. I literally had like $2,000 to my name and I got my first credit card to take my first trip. And that was the only way I made it happen. But it was a struggle, but it's always made me more ambitious to come from nothing. Like I've been living on my own since I was 17. I wanted to be an adult since I was 17. I was like, I'm getting my own apartment. I am an
It's
adult.
like I'm ready.
I'm
I'm ready.
I've been working. I started working when I was 13, actually illegally as a waitress. So I've been like hustling for
At
a
a young
while.
age,
So
yeah.
yeah. Because I saw my mom struggle so much and like she like had to work all the time. She missed out on like being with us a lot. We were always home alone. And I was like, I don't want to end up just like not having that much money. Like, so I'm going to start making money now. And maybe by the time I'm older, I'll have more money. And then I also never wanted my mom to pay for anything for me. So
Yeah.
from a very young age, I would not accept any money from her. And I still to this day, obviously I would. Now I pay for her trips, which
I
makes me
love
really
that.
happy.
I love that. I
Yeah.
love that.
That's amazing.
Yeah, she has one dedicated trip per year, and if I can do more, we do more.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Aw, and those mother-daughter
Yeah.
trips are so special. Like my mom and I will try to
Yeah.
travel once a year, and it always means so much to me to have that relationship because my mom loves to travel too, and it's just like so nice.
It really is. It really is. And you get to know a whole different side of your parents too, which I think is awesome. She's like my bestie now. She's not my mom, she's my bestie. And my
Aw,
therapist.
I love this. It's making me so happy.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, that's so nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love what you
Yeah,
like had
it
to
is nice.
say. Like it's really inspiring because it is true. Like people will just like look at social and just assume things like there must have been like a lot of money to start this, and it's always inspiring to hear that that's like not always the case.
Yeah. And it is also, like I said before, a large majority of people, I'm sure, think that I was only able to do this all because of the way I look, which again is why in the beginning I just was like, okay, well, I'm not going to show my face and then tell me how I'm doing this. Actually, it was funny. I have a funny story for you. So I started getting asked to speak at travel conferences. And again, I had full imposter syndrome. I was like, why? What am I going to tell people? And they're like, you're going to tell people your story and like how to gain followers and how to get collaborations. I'm like, okay, yes. And I remember, I think I was at Women's Travel Fest and my slot, my speech, whatever, it was like full. Like everyone was, all the seats were full. And I did my speech. And I remember that was the year that Jessica Nabongo became the first Black female American to go to every country in the world. So she was keynote speaker. And I remember her sitting like in the third row in the aisle taking notes. And I was like, is she taking notes about me? Like she's the one who
I
just went
love
to every
it.
country. And then I talked to her afterwards and she's like, I have to tell you something. She's like, wait, a lot of us thought that like you had something wrong with your face. And I'm like, what? And she's like, yeah, you never show your face. So we all were like, what is she like hiding something? Does she have like a birth defect or like some scar? And I was like, no, I just like don't want people to think that I'm getting all these followers because of the way I look. And
The
she's like,
Phantom
oh
of the Opera.
yeah. She's like, this is literally the first time like a lot of us have seen your face. And I'm like, I didn't even realize that.
That's
I did not
amazing.
realize that. Yeah, it was funny.
Alyssa, I was at that talk too. I would go to Women's Travel Fest every
were
year,
you?
and I still remember your talk. Yeah, I was there.
Thank you. Thanks. That was like such a like cool point in my life because I really didn't think that I was doing anything super special, and I didn't think people were like they cared like what I was doing. And then when I saw that like that whole room was packed and people were actually listening to me, I was like, oh, I do know what I'm talking about. Yeah, this is what I do. Because I
Yeah.
was like so used to it, people being told that it wasn't a thing. Collaborations with bloggers are not a thing. Like, sponsorships for bloggers and influencers are not a thing. Like and then I was like, well, it is a thing. And people are paying me to do this. So that was like really cool. It was cool to like be there for the evolution of the creation of the creator, basically. Which
Yeah.
one of my books, my next books, eventually when I have time, which is never, maybe ChatGPT can help me. I wanted to make the book like creation of the creators to tell the story of how like the concept came to be and like from what it was to what it is now.
I would totally read that. That sounds like an amazing book. Like I would
Yeah.
read it in a second. And I have to ask because imposter syndrome is something I struggle with like all the time. And I feel like especially as women, it's just something I hear about constantly from other creators. I hear it from people who are not creators. What are some ways that people can kind of get over that? I know you said that you're still dealing with it a little bit, but do you have any like tips for getting over this imposter syndrome? Because it can really be debilitating. Like I was scared to even
really
pitch
can.
a travel magazine until Rosa, being the amazing friend that she is, encouraged me and I got my pitch accepted. So if it wasn't for her, I never would have done it.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard. It's like, how do you validate yourself without being like, oh, I'm just validating myself? But the main thing that helps me is I read my every comment that anyone leaves me. I screenshot the ones that like are really meaningful. Like people will write me paragraphs saying they've been following me for 10 years and they went on this trip because of me and this trip because of me. And I'll screenshot things like that. I have it in a folder. I use it as testimonials too, but like
I love
I'll
it.
screenshot it to like remind myself that like I actually am doing something. Like, and at this point I'm like, I started so many trends that are now like lucrative businesses. Like I get angry, but like the group trip thing, I was the first influencer to do an influencer hosted group trip like 9 years ago. And now it's like a huge trend. And I'm like, well, that's annoying because that's competition. But I'm like, that's cool though that I started this trend and I had a good idea and now other people are doing it successfully, which means I'm not an imposter. Like I did that. Me. And then I love to have nights where I just scroll through my blog, my own like Instagram. And I'm like, I did that. It's not fake. I was there. I did it. And I did everything correctly and I succeeded. So it's really just like reminding yourself of the things that you have done already in the past, even if they're small. Like you started a podcast. People want to start podcasts, but like don't have either the ambition or the time, or like they're just like they don't know what to do. Like you did something, and at the end of the day, like everyone accomplishes something by just making it through the day. You know, so it's like just validating yourself personally when you start to feel like the ick. And also, I think talking about it helps. Like I said it the other day, I was in Spain with my friend Claire. She's an actress. And I was like, we were at the Four Seasons, for example. We were at the rooftop and I was laughing when we got the bill. And she's like, what? I'm like, it's really expensive. But she's like, why are you laughing? I'm like, because this is the first time I've ever had to pay for something at the Four Seasons. And she's like, what do you mean? I'm like, Season has always sponsored me. I'm like, and then I was telling her, I was like, I feel like such an imposter. But I was like, okay. I was like, I felt like an imposter going into the Four Seasons because of my background being broke. It
Mhm.
still doesn't register in my mind now that I have a lot of money and a lot of establishment. So I walk in and everyone greets me as if I'm like staying there. I'm like, wow, why do I feel weird? They should greet me. I look like I should be here. I
Yeah.
stay at the Four Seasons all the time. So I like had imposter syndrome like right away. And I'm like, why? Get out of here. Go, go. Like I belong here. They
It's
want
like
me. And
it's
then
like I
yeah, so I
belong
told
here.
her that. Yeah, I told her that. I was like, I don't know why I had imposter syndrome. Like Four Seasons sponsors me all the time, but I guess since I've never actually paid, and she's like, that's even better. Like they want you there. And then she was telling me, she's like, I also get imposter syndrome all the time. It sucks. I'm like, why do you get it? And she like told me her story, and I was like, well, you're not an imposter. Like you are in several movies, and you produce several movies. And she's like, yeah, I know. I don't know why I feel this way. I'm like, does that suck? Ew, gross. Oh,
Yeah.
shoot. God.
Yeah, you just have to tell
Yeah.
it to go away. Be like, get out, get out. Like I do this all the time at my teaching job because like sometimes you'll
Mhm.
have bad days. Teaching high school can be stressful. I have all my thank you notes and thank you cards that students have given me
Mhm.
like taped up to all the cabinets around me. So if I'm having a rough day, I'm just like, it's time to go through all of the letters from former students with all the thank you cards. And it does like
Exactly.
really help to see it. Like, yeah, like, you know,
Yeah.
you do a good job, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, and I think I definitely agree with keeping things like that. And I do want to mention though that it just sucks that it's so hard for most people to give a compliment or to say that you've helped them because most people only want to talk when it's something negative or
Mhm.
something like that involves them. So it's like really rare to get like those nice thank yous and compliments, but when you get them it's just like, oh, I am doing what I'm supposed to be doing. So, yeah, I always agree. I cherish every single little thank you ever.
It's a boost to our confidence when we do get those compliments because like you said, it's so easy for people to go, especially like online. They hide behind the computer and they think it's so easy to be like an internet troll. I mean,
Oh
I know
God.
whenever I get any like negative comment, I had a couple of videos that went viral on TikTok. Like I was just posting like a joke about my personal like love life with my husband and stuff, and the amount of hate that I got on the videos, and I'm like, first of all, the concept of the video wasn't even my idea, it was my husband's idea. So like he was all for the plot, and here I am getting all these hate messages like unnecessarily. So normally I just like block them, I delete it. I don't
Yeah.
even bother even responding
Yeah.
to negativity.
Never, ever, ever listen to any negative comment because that is just jealousy or people being bored.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I don't even bother. I'm like,
I
really?
just right away like block people. Like even I'm so crazy with blocking that even say like on threads, I feel like there's a lot of rage bait. If I even see someone posting rage bait, even if I don't know who they are, I just block them. I'm
Good.
like, I have no patience for any of that stuff anymore, whether
Yeah.
it's a negative comment, rage bait. I'm just so over it.
Yeah, me
Exactly.
too. I'm really over it. And I got rid of that. I used to get like obviously hate comments in the beginning, and the way that I got rid of it, I don't take shit from people, and I would respond to them
I
in a
love
very
that.
passive aggressive way, and then I would repost. I would I would repost their comments so that everyone could see them, and then I would respond about it, and it would scare people away. So I think people like I got a reputation for like if you talk shit to me, I'm gonna post about it and show everyone.
Yeah, absolutely.
People are getting scared. They're like, uh-oh, I don't want my name
Yeah,
out there.
exactly, exactly. And then also, my followers would actually also attack the people in the comments too. So I was like,
It's
Like,
like
there we
my
go.
friends are
mean.
sticking up for
Don't
me.
be mean.
Bye.
That's what you get for being a bully.
Yeah,
Yeah, don't be
right.
mean.
Yeah, it's
But
so
one of the
simple.
things I love, I know I've been following you for quite some time, and just seeing like all of your amazing like travel adventures and all the different countries that you visited. So I'm just curious, like your content's always showing the beauty around the world, but also you're always honest about some of the realities in various countries. So what are some of the highs and lows, especially when traveling solo, and how do you capture those stories?
Okay, so used to traveling alone. Now it's actually easier for me to travel alone. I get
Same.
um yeah, it's just I like my friends, I like my husband, but like I like my group trips, but I pay a lot more attention to the culture. I get a lot more immersed and I get a lot more involved when I'm by myself and I just get a lot more done. So that's my high. Like when I travel solo, I'm like, I'm going to work. I'm proud of my business. I'm in my little plane office. So that's like I love getting to a place and I'm just like, okay, I have all these things to do. And I'm going to get all this stuff done. I'm going to see this and eat this and da da da. And I love traveling. So that's honestly, that's my main high. There are many lows. As we know, it is hard to travel solo as a woman. So it's like right away, it's like a constant, like, intimidation. Like you arrive and you're like, oh my God, do I have everything? What if I don't have something and no one's here to help me? Or what if I get into an accident and no one's here to help me? Where's the hospital? The first thing I think of these days is like, how far away is the hospital from where we are? And then,
Same.
It's like the little things.
yeah, I've been in a few accidents and now I'm like, all right, I need to know exactly how far the hospital is and what number to call. Yeah.
That's
Things
crazy
you
because it's
think about.
something very basic. Like you said, even what number to call, because obviously being from the US, we call 911. But that's not
Yeah.
the case in other countries, obviously. So
Mhm.
just like knowing
Mhm.
something as basic as that, I think is
Mhm.
definitely essential for any traveler.
Yes, it definitely is. Definitely is. But I find it a lot easier to meet people, get information, and just like everything's a lot easier for me when I'm solo for some reason. But the low again is like if it's not a sponsored trip and I'm paying, that's a low. Everything is twice as expensive. I don't mind eating by myself though, so that's nothing like that is a low for me. It's really just like not so much now, but in the beginning and like probably up until like a few years ago, just like having to like hype myself up, being like, it's gonna be okay. Just go to the restaurant, eat the food, you'll be fine by yourself. Like just go. Because
Yeah.
I actually used to be like really introverted. Like
Mm-hmm.
traveling forced me to be more extroverted. But in the beginning, I was like, I can't eat alone. People are
Oh,
gonna
I
think
used to
I'm
have the
weird.
hardest time with that. I would just go and hide in McDonald's because I would be so scared about eating alone. Now it doesn't bother me.
Yep.
Like I'll go and do it, but I still have to hype myself up, especially if it's like a
Mhm.
table for one, like a bar seat. I kind of like don't care. You blend in. But that table for one, I have to be like, oh my
Mhm.
God. Like, nope, bring a
Yeah, and
book, bring your phone.
I hate when they seat you at a table for two and then they take away the other setting. I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
you can just
I
leave it there.
know.
You have to just like emphasize that it's just for one. Like,
I
why?
know.
Let's
I
just
know.
remind everyone I'm by myself.
Yeah, yeah. But I'm really good at it now. I always make sure as soon as I walk up, I announce a table for one, please. Like I'm very proud of it. And then I would like immediately order like a glass of like sparkling wine, a prosecco, like no shame at all. Like, what would I like to eat today?
To do that the next time I'm solo traveling, just sit and be like, bring me my
Always.
Prosecco.
Always, always. It's so funny. And actually doing that, people have started automatically assuming that I'm in the country for work, not
Yes.
like just
Mhm.
traveling. Yeah. And the way I dress now too is like everyone always assumes that I'm there for work. So it's like,
You blend in.
yeah.
Yeah, but I like love that the whole like hyping yourself up thing. And it's true, I can really relate to like on my solo trips. I feel like I just connect with other people better. Like every solo
Mhm.
trip I've been on, I feel like I've made friends more easily than when I'm with a group. So I absolutely love that about solo travel, just being able to immerse yourself. Because I feel like when you're in a group, like you're worried about the group and not taking in what's around you.
Yeah, you are. And then also I think people are less likely to talk to you. One thing I really like these days is I feel confident enough to like approach almost anyone to ask for help or for ask like if it's a waiter to ask for recommendations on what to do. This also I meant to mention this earlier, but a big difference between female solo travel and male solo travel that I'm really always frustrated by is all these videos that like go viral of these guys that are like in countries that are not like female friendly and they're going up to local men and like they're being all broy and they're showing them what to eat and like they're eating street food together and like he's taking him to his favorite bar and I'm like that's nice. I would never be able to fucking do that because sorry.
That's
Never be
all
able
good.
to
It's all good. It's
I would
all
never be
good.
able to do
Our
that.
audience is mature.
Our audience is fine.
I don't know. I don't know if it's made for kids. I don't know.
It's
But
fine.
yeah, that's like a struggle being solo. Like that's kind of a low point for me is having to always feel worried about being a woman.
Yes,
Like
for sure.
so many times I'm like, if I was a dude,
Oh, if I was a dude, I'd be on fire.
Forget it.
Like my
Yep.
account would be
Yeah.
all of that just going up to random people
Yeah.
because I'm an
I'd be-
extrovert anyway. I could talk to a wall.
Yeah.
So if I was a dude,
Yeah.
I would be doing that all the time. And those accounts piss me off. I like watch them and I'm
I
like,
know.
I can't do this. I'm like feeling myself
I
get
know.
angry.
I know. I'm like, oh, it must be nice to get such cool content and experiences. If I did that, I would get like harassed or hit on or something. Like,
Yeah, it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating.
yeah.
Like I said, I
Yeah.
don't even follow any of those accounts anymore. I just like was like, this doesn't relate to me. I can't do it. I'm not gonna follow it.
Yeah, and it's also frustrating. Another thing I've noticed in my travels is that men get a lot more respect from people, locals, than locals and
Absolutely.
foreigners. They get so much more respect. Like I've traveled with a guy, even at, like with my husband, this happens. it'll be my collaboration. I'm invited there. He's my plus one. I'm the one getting paid to be there. And if the person doesn't know that, they're just like chumming it up with the guy, like he's the coolest person on earth. And I'm like, I'm the one
Like,
here,
hello.
like
Hi.
working. Hello. Yeah, I'm the one who's traveled the world. You want to ask me some questions?
Yeah.
That's so funny because that happened to us. I think when we went to Egypt, we were same thing. I was doing a partnership with the hotel, and the guys they would only talk to Michael, and I'm looking at him, and I'm looking at my daughter, and I'm like, I guess you speak on behalf of all of us. So from now on, we'll tell you what we want, and you relay the message. But the same thing, I'm just like, I felt like I was like invisible. After a while, I was like, you know what? Here you go. Just order
Yeah.
for me. Just do all the talking. I was
Yeah.
like, I like to be an introvert anyways.
Yeah, do some work here.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've seen the same thing too. Like I remember it wasn't a collaboration. I was with my friend in Paris and we had just gotten back from a really long trip and we wanted to see the Eiffel Tower lit up. And we noticed like the people who were just like trying to sell these little miniature Eiffel Towers, whenever a dude would tell them no thanks, I don't want to buy this, they would like move on and not bother them anymore. But they would like really hassle like the women. Like they would go up with the Eiffel Towers, the woman would say no, and then they would follow them or they would keep prodding. And my friend even commented on it. She's like, look at this. She's like, they won't take no from the women. But if the dude is like, I'm not interested in buying this, they'd be like, oh, okay. And it was just frustrating to see in like real time.
It's really frustrating. Yeah. 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 It's annoying. It's frustrating. It's really hard. I think women deserve a lot more credit for traveling and doing things. Women deserve a lot more credit in general.
In general, yeah.
But
Yeah,
like,
period.
yeah. Yeah.
We can have a whole nother episode about women like empowerment because like
I know. Don't
that's
even
a
get me
whole nother
started
topic.
about this. Like, yeah, don't even get me started about that one.
That'll
We're
be,
going to
like,
do a whole
multiple
series
series.
together, multiple
Follow-up, yeah.
parts.
Do a follow up. How unfair it is in the world to be a woman some of the times.
But I feel like that's probably one of the reasons too why a lot of women are afraid to like travel by themselves because they don't want to deal with all of these things. I know like we joke around like sitting in a restaurant by ourselves, but that could be very like intimidating for someone. So for
Yes.
someone who hasn't really explored and maybe they're thinking about taking that first like solo trip, what would be some of your advice and maybe some go-to travel hacks?
My top advice is definitely go. That's everyone's advice. My second advice is if you're worried to just start looking at some accounts like mine of women who have been like traveling solo for like a while and like seeing how much they love it. And I'm not trying to like get traffic to my blog, but I always recommend like, I know that there's AI and everything is so easy now with that, with travel planning, but ChatGPT did not go to like DR Congo or Papua New Guinea where I went. So ChatGPT does not know what it's actually like for me as a woman to go to these places alone. So on my blog, if you are like a solo female traveler and you want to know what it feels like I specifically write about what it was like as a female to go to these countries, why I felt safe in any situations where I did not feel safe. And then I always put like my tips. So my tips, like what you were asking, hacks, I guess. Something else for solo travelers if they're trying to go for the first time. There's also like a lot of groups you can connect with now. And not to promo my group trips, but my group trips, I formed them because so many women were messaging me on Instagram saying that they are too scared to travel solo or they don't want to travel solo. They don't want to be alone. And they would ask me if they could just join me on my travels. And I was like, no, because I'm a solo female traveler. And then I was like, oh, wait, but there's a lot of
It's like, oh, wait, there's an
It's the solo
opportunity here.
part. But then there was like 20 people asking me, and I was like, okay, what if I put all the solo travelers together? And then they will be solo traveling still technically to get there, but then they'll have like a support system once they arrive. So if you don't want to go like super alone your first time, you can join like a group of other travelers. And then a lot of my travelers have turned into solo travelers. They still do the groups because they're really fun, but like it gave them the confidence to know what you need to do to like prepare for a trip and what to do while you're there to make sure everything goes smoothly, what to do if there's an issue. So it's a good learning point if you just start with like an existing trip and then you can get confident and go off on your own.
Yeah, I love that advice because my first solo trip was to Scotland and it was a group trip and it gave me the confidence I needed. Like, obviously, I was getting over there by myself, but then, like, with the logistics taken care of, I was like, oh, I could do this by myself. This is like good. So that's like a phenomenal piece of advice for sure. So you've been to 145 countries, which is amazing. I know we talked about this in the beginning, but are there any places in particular that like stand out the most to you, whether it's a place good for beginners or a place where you had a really inspiring, life-changing moment?
Beginners, I mean, Europe's easy for beginners. But I have two suggestions. If you're a beginner and you're like scared and like worried and like very, very, like very worried about it, I would suggest going somewhere that English is widely spoken. Like, don't show up in Japan. Everyone says Japan's the best for solo female travel, but if you're a first time or new solo female traveler, there's no English there. It's very stressful. Like, it's beautiful. It's awesome. I love Japan, one of my favorite
I'm
countries.
obsessed.
But I love Japan, but it's hard if you're not used to like if you don't have your eSIM, if you're not used to using an eSIM or SIM card, you're not used to using like Translate app, if you're not like used to stuff like that, it's hard. So go to an English speaking country. I love Mexico. Everyone thinks it's dangerous, but I live here, so I love places like Mexico where there's also like communities. Barcelona has a huge expat community, so there's always like English speakers around, which is it makes you feel just a little bit more comfortable, I think, to hear familiar people talking. But if you want to get like more immersed and you don't want to be around like other Americans, you could just maybe take a trip to like, I don't know, let's say South Africa or even like Tanzania. Is what English in that whole area, everyone speaks English and they really cater to tourists. So it's safe because everyone is like really tourism focused. Zanzibar and like Serengeti tour was one of my favorites to do solo.
Yeah, I just did that this past year. That was like our bucket.
Nice.
Well, my bucket list trip was going to like a safari. So we actually chose Tanzania. And I do agree. The people were so nice. Like we spent some time in Arusha. We also went to Zanzibar. Everyone was so nice, so pleasant. And even though I plan all of my trips typically myself from like beginning to end, we actually hired a tour company who did the planning. So literally, I just like showed up. I'm like, tell me when to wake up, when to be ready, and that's it. Like,
Yeah.
it was like the easiest trip because I think a lot of people, like you said, they get overwhelmed. I know navigating like the public transportation system. Like when we went to Japan, although I love Japan, like I gave the phone to my daughter. I was like, Sam, tell me where to go because I have like zero navigational skills. Like I would get lost like around the corner from my house. So navigating that could be a little bit intimidating, but the language barrier, like that's also a big factor.
Yeah. So that would be my biggest tip is to go somewhere at least where it's predominantly English spoken and a place that like is pretty popular or pretty at least well known for safety. But my favorite right now, it's hard because I think like my brain goes back to like what was the most recent one. I'm looking at this map I just got for collaboration that has everywhere I've been.
I love that.
I have to say, like, I saw your gorilla trekking adventures, and that looked phenomenal.
Oh, I want to do that. Oh
I'm like,
my
I
God.
don't even know. Like, how do you even like? I just have so many questions because, like, how do you top it? Like, you've done so many like cool, amazing things, and I'm just like, all right, what's
I have a whole list still. I have a really long list. I was telling my mom my list like 2 nights ago, and she stopped me and she's like, Alyssa, you stop. You don't have time for all of this next year. I'm like, not for next year. It's just for like in general. She goes, it's a lot of places. I'm like, I know. I'm just saying. I'm like, okay, I'll close them. I had like the map open on my phone, and I was just trying to see where I hadn't been yet, and I was naming all these places, and she's like, okay, stop. I'm like, oh, just saying.
I'm just saying. Oh, I do that all the time. I do that all the time, and I'll run it by my mom, and she's like, Rachel, you can't fit this all on your summer vacation. And I'm like, well, I'm just saying, maybe for the following year, the year after that. I have a big list.
Yeah. I'm like, this is like my 2-year plan. She's like, 2 years. I'm like, maybe 3. I don't know. Who knows? We'll see. Yeah, we'll see what emails I get tomorrow.
Exactly.
But yeah, one of my favorites in the recent years, I have 2 different kinds of favorites. 3 favorites that I would go back to like visit because like they're so pretty and I want to like chill and have fun. Places I would live, and then like places that completely like intrigued me because they're so different. So my 3 recent ones that are intriguing, that are very different, are Papua New Guinea, because everyone says it's so dangerous, but it has one of the most authentic cultures, really well preserved authentic cultures that I've seen in a really long time. Also, I went to Turkmenistan alone. That was terrifying.
Wow.
Very interesting.
Wow.
That looked interesting.
I was just like, I had so many questions. And I had this really sweet Gen Z girl. I think she was like 24, who was my guide. And I was like, I have so many questions for you. And she let me like give her wine. I was like,
oh, wow.
I was like, are you allowed to drink here? Is it a Muslim country? She goes, it's part Muslim. She's like, I can do whatever I want. I'm like, okay, great. You want some wine? And she's like, okay, don't tell anyone, but yes. I'm like, yes.
Love that.
Did the youth?
Yeah, it was fun. It was a really cool trip. It was a really cool trip. And then where else did I go recently? Let me look. All the Pacific Islands I love. They're like very difficult, but I
Mhm.
really like the Pacific. Fiji's great.
Oh, I
It's
want to go to
expensive,
Fiji
but it's
so
very
badly. It's very high on my
Mhm.
list.
It's really great. It's really fun. That was the I brought a group there in September, and they said that was like one of their favorite parts was just doing the island hopping.
I'm ready
Nice.
to pull
Mhm.
up my app and just book another
Mhm.
ticket. Oh my God.
I
Yeah,
think
and
that
then
would
once
be
you're in
like a
Fiji,
fun
you
solo.
have to just hop to other places because
Yep.
it's expensive to get there. So you might as well go see as many islands as you can.
Might as well stay as long as possible.
Might as well just move there. Who knows?
Thank God this is not a financial podcast because
No.
sometimes we don't give the most like financial
Mm-mm.
savvy advice.
No, I
Mm-mm.
don't. No.
Yeah, we're gonna make that into a T-shirt. This is not a financial podcast. I think
Yeah.
that needs to be our merch for
Yeah.
real because we say it every episode.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I know you
I swear
mentioned
it's all budget friendly.
you have a list of some places that you look forward to visiting. There are new destinations. Do you want to share a few of those places?
Yes, thank you for asking. So these days I have to get requested to do collaborations in countries I've either already been to or I do 4 group trips per year and I've already been there. So I try really hard to match one new country for each country that I repeat,
I like
which is
that.
getting harder
Nice
because
strategy.
there's less and less now these days. So next year, I would like to I've been to China, but I want to do a more exploratory, in-depth tour of China. I would like to I'm going to do Pakistan and maybe Afghanistan. I don't really know yet, but definitely Pakistan and Azerbaijan. And then where else are they going to go? In Europe, I only have like 3 countries left besides like you know, Russia and Ukraine.
Mm.
So I'm going to try to tick off all of them. So Moldova, San Marino, which is like a tiny country
Yeah.
inside of Italy,
Mhm.
Liechtenstein, another tiny country inside of another
Mhm.
country, and then I think that was all of them. So those 3. That's all I've got so far. But in my long term, I also need to do in 2027. I only have 4 countries in South America left. So they're the small ones at the top, like Guyana.
Mhm.
So there's Suriname, Guyana, and New Guinea. New something. I forget. But I have those 3. But unfortunately, I can't get to Venezuela. But I might try to go to an island that belongs to Venezuela for now. I would
Mhm.
still like to go to Venezuela. Actually, later today, I'm meeting my friend Vanessa, who's from Venezuela, and we have a plan. As soon as they let Americans back in and things are like okay again,
Better.
we're gonna
Mhm.
go visit.
It's so funny because I always think about that. So I was born Dominican Republic, but I lived in the States my whole life and I became a US citizen when I turned, I think, like 18 or 19. But I don't have my Dominican passport anymore. And I always think
Mhm.
about that. I was like, I can travel to so many more places if I had my Dominican passport. So I'm like thinking in my head, I was like, I think I need to make this happen so I can like check off more places off my list. Because like you said, you bring up a good point. Being from the
Yeah.
US, we do have
Oh yeah.
we think that we have a great passport, but we do have some limitations
Yeah.
of
Mhm.
where we can travel to, or even some places that we can. We just have to get like a visa and maybe do a little bit more
Yeah.
research before we
Mhm.
can actually get
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. But there's like 3 countries that are absolutely no go right now, which is like, hello, I have a goal to accomplish.
It's
How
like,
can I see
hey,
the world? Hello.
I need to see every single one. What are you doing?
Can you men get over yourselves and just get along so that we can
Oh my
travel?
God.
Exactly. We have very selfish goals around here, people.
It's like, we
Rosa, I
want to go
actually have a
everywhere.
question for you.
Mhm, sure.
So I try not to look at the news of the USA. Okay. With getting a dual passport, I hear things. So I heard that they're now trying to like take away people's dual citizenships. Is that a thing?
Yeah. So
Mm.
there is, I think, I forget his name, but it's a shame because he's also from Colombia. So you would think, as someone who's outside of the US, he would empower the idea of having dual citizenship, but that's a whole nother topic. But yeah, he's trying to propose a bill where we can't have dual citizenship. So if you do
Ugh.
have your US citizenship, US passport, you cannot apply. So, like for instance, for me, being that I was born in Dominican Republic, I would qualify to get my citizenship in Dominican Republic. Like my husband, his parents are from
Mhm.
Colombia, but he was born in the US. So for him, that means he would not be able to get a Colombian passport or
Mm.
citizenship. So if that bill goes into effect, I don't know what it would affect people that already have dual citizenship and if it's going to be something going forward, but that definitely will add another the layer.
Yeah, it sucks when places
Interesting.
do that.
And places, yeah, and also too, just not from a travel perspective. I know I have a lot of friends that are American citizens. They were born here and they live overseas. And for them, it makes, sense to also get citizenship in the country that they're living. So I don't know how that's going to affect people that also live outside of the US. So if that bill goes into effect, it's going to affect a lot of people. So,
Yeah, it's sad.
yeah. So fingers crossed. Let's
Yeah, I know like Italy had like something like recently where they changed like the requirement for like dual citizenship, and a lot of people had like appointments like with the embassies and the consulate to get their Italian passport, and Italy like changed the law recently. It's like, actually no, you can't. And I feel so sorry for people who got like all the paperwork together only to have that taken away. It just like, it sucks.
Yeah, especially because any process like that in Italy takes forever. Like so slow. My God.
Yeah. So, but on that note, maybe we'll switch off to some fun, like little rapid fire questions.
Yes!
Okay, cool.
This is so fun. This is so fun.
All right, Alyssa, you're on the hot seat. So, what would you say has been your best travel splurge?
Travel splurge. Let me think about this. There's so many. I guess it has to be the recent one. My first trip to Fiji, I could not get a collaboration. I could not convince them to give me a collaboration because they're so famous that they don't even need collaborations. So I splurged and I spent like a couple $1,000s, I think, to get myself to Fiji and to do the island hopping and have a private bure. So I didn't have to like stay in like a shared area or something like that. So I think that was my recent splurge.
That sounds so fancy.
so
I
nice.
was like, I need to add that to my list.
Worth it.
Worth it. I'm going to do that as a gift for me when I turn 40. That just sounds amazing.
Highly recommend it. Highly recommend it.
All right. So the next one is, what is your worst travel mishap?
So many. It probably is missing a flight because I forgot a document. So that's happened in Thailand where I had a layover. I wasn't stopping in Thailand, but they still required you to have a visa, so they wouldn't let me leave. And then there was another time I was supposed to go to the Seychelles from Mexico, and I got to the airport and I had for 2 hours. The airport's 2 hours away. I had my dog and I forgot the paper for the dog. So I couldn't board the flight to get to the US to drop him off to go to the Seychelles. So I missed that trip.
Oh, that sucks.
Wow.
Yes.
I do have to say, I love listening to like the travel fails because it happens to me. I always say, like, on every trip, something always goes wrong. So I think sometimes people have this conception that they don't want to travel or like solo travel just because they don't want something bad to happen. And it could be something very like minor, like you said, forgetting maybe like a document, which can be costly because now you miss on this trip. But it happens to all of us, like even seasoned travelers. Like, you've been to all these countries and still like we make mistakes. So it's like, don't
It's
let
bound to happen.
Exactly. Don't let the fear of something bad happening keep you away from like experiencing the world, because it happens to all of us like all the time.
It does. And I try to post those moments, not just so that people can relate, but selfishly, my failures and struggles tend to like do a lot better on social media than my
So true.
People like to see us be miserable sometimes.
Yeah, someone said to me recently, and I was like, I don't get it. Like, I'll post like me just talking, and I'm like, oh, I'm in the hospital again, and then that will get like twice as many views and likes as like the actual destination that I made a beautiful video of. And someone's like, well, yeah, because that's relatable. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm gonna start putting less effort into my beautiful videos and more effort into my failures.
I have to post videos of me crying in the airport because I'm scared of the flight or something.
Oh no,
Sobbing in the United Lounge.
I'm sure it'll go viral.
Yeah,
probably.
What's your one item that you always pack?
The thing that I pack with. So that's the travel compression bags. I have no skills in folding clothes or hanging clothes up. And the only way I can pack is to lay things flat, put it in the bag, squeeze the air out. And that's how I organize.
Those are a lifesaver. I actually used the compression packing bags for the first time. My daughter and I did a hiking trip in Iceland in June. And I'm like, how? Because I'm like carry-on only because I'm petite and I'm always like afraid that my stuff is going to get lost. So I'm like paranoid. I'm like, how am I supposed to fit like all this winter gear plus a sleeping bag into like a luggage? And I went online and bought the compression bags, and they were like a total game changer. Now I use them for like all of my trips.
I love them. I can't function without them.
Love it. I definitely need them for sure. So how about a destination you'd return to again and again?
All of them? No, just kidding. I'll just say the ones that I do return to. Okay, so obviously Mexico, obviously Italy. Barcelona I always go back to because I love it so much. I try as much as I can to go back to Thailand. I really like Thailand and Philippines.
I want to go so badly. Thailand's like number one on my list right now.
Do it. You'll love it.
Been?
I haven't been yet. Yes.
Start in Bangkok and go down to the islands.
Nice. Yes.
I love
On it.
Bangkok. I just love
On it.
I love Southeast Asia in general. But yeah, I think those would be my tops that I like return to because I like them.
Those are
It's
fun. But Alyssa, thank you so much for joining us today. Your journey, your advice, and your honesty are such a gift to anyone dreaming of exploring the world, especially those that are doing it solo. So before we wrap up, is there one piece of advice you would give to our listeners if they're ready to embark on that solo trip and maybe they're just a little afraid?
You are not actually alone. The term solo travel just means that you are going on your own to the destination, but you are really never alone when you travel solo. You are destined to meet people, you're destined to talk to people. I guarantee you won't get lonely because you'll just have some stuff to do. Even if you do get lonely, you have a phone, you can talk to people. But I don't like saying cliche things like travel to find yourself and like all this stuff, but you will definitely find a different version of yourself hidden away once you find that freedom and that self reliability, I guess you would say, that comes with solo travel. And it's just like, it's so eye opening. Like, I wish I would have started doing it sooner. And if you're thinking about it and you want to put it off, I would say just go. You might as well just go now.
Yeah, just do it.
That's
Just
what we
do
always
it.
say. Just do it. There's
Just
no
do
better
it.
time like today.
Yes, exactly.
And
It's
I
a great
love how you
day to go.
how you put that too. Like, yes, you're going to a destination by yourself, but you're not going to be entirely by yourself. I know we talked
Mhm.
about this on other episodes too. Like, even if you are traveling alone, maybe you can join like group trips and do certain things
Mhm.
like that, or like tours. So you're not 100% by yourself when you're going to these destinations. So
Exactly. There's
just
people
do it, bestie.
everywhere. Just say hi. Someone will talk to you.
Yes.
Exactly.
I have
Just
no
smile.
shame.
And something else that I always want to share is the world and the people are a lot less scarier than the US makes it seem. I was
Absolutely.
certain I was going to get kidnapped or like yelled at or something like this. People are so friendly abroad and like genuinely mostly good people. Like you
Absolutely.
can be standing there looking confused. There's a lot more good people than like you think that there are in the world.
Exactly. And like,
Yeah.
travel's supposed to push you outside of your comfort zone. So it's not always going to be glamorous and things they're going to happen, but they're going to happen back home too. So just get out there and be adventurous. So Alyssa, thank you again for being on
Thank
the
you,
show.
lady.
And for everyone listening, make sure to check out Alyssa's blog and her socials. We'll make sure to link everything in the show notes. We promise you'll leave feeling inspired and ready to book that flight. So if you love
Yeah.
today's episode, please don't forget to subscribe, leave us a review, or share with your fellow travel bestie who just needs a little push to start their adventure. So until next time, bon voyage, besties.
Bon
Catch you on the
voyage,
next one.
besties. We love you. We'll see you in the
Ciao.
next
Bye.
one. Au revoir. Bye.